Hello, welcome to the Roseville Parks and Recreation Adult Softball Online Managers Meeting. This video is designed to provide you with all the necessary league information for the summer softball season to ensure that your team gets the most out of the season here in Roseville. First, we want to thank you for choosing to play your summer softball here with the City of Roseville. We understand that you have many softball options throughout the metro area. We appreciate that you have chosen to play with us. We have 135 teams spread over 6 nights of play and are excited with all that we have to offer. The goal of our leagues are to provide a safe, well-organized, sportsmanly, fun, and fair atmosphere to participants of all backgrounds and skill level. All policies and procedures here in this league are made with that goal in mind. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Josh Tikason, and I'm the Recreation Supervisor in charge of softball here at Roseville. I can be reached by either email or phone with any questions or concerns that you may have. My primary method of communication with managers will be by email. If you do not use email, please let me know as soon as possible so that I know that I need to contact you by phone or other means if any changes are made. The league website is listed below, as well as the softball schedule link. League schedules are posted. Any schedule changes that are made will be posted on the league page. Additionally, if any changes are made, managers will be emailed to inform you of the change. In addition, the league page indicates updated standing and results for each game. We do encourage managers to check back often to let us know if there were scores entered incorrectly so we can make sure that we keep accurate tabs on the league. Games are scheduled to begin on Sunday, April 24th, and each subsequent day, weather pending. Each league will have a playoff for the top 8 teams. Brackets will be posted on the league page following the final game of the season. All teams are required to provide a roster prior to the first game. Rosters must include all players that you intend to use on your team at any point during the season. Substitute players will be allowed during the regular season, but only roster players may be used in the playoffs. When selecting substitutions, please consider the skill level of your league and not bring in quote-unquote ringer players, who may make the balance of the league unfair. Teams who do not submit a roster will in fact forfeit a game if they are protested against. If games are in question, please contact our weather website that can be found on the league page or schedule page, or call the weather hotline at or after 4:30 p.m. Play or no play decisions will be based on the status of the fields as of 4:15 p.m., not based upon any forecasted conditions or projections. There have been several situations in the past in which forecasts have been wrong, in which 100% rain was projected but skies indeed cleared and games were able to be played. If conditions prior to 4:30 dictate that the fields will be unplayable, we will make every effort to update the weather website as early as possible to let you know if games will be canceled. Should conditions change after 4:30, the umpires on site will make the final play or no play decision based on the conditions of their field. In the event of after-hour cancellations, we will attempt to update the weather hotline as soon as possible, but cannot do so until we receive confirmation that all fields have been canceled for the night. Should rain occur, up to 2 weeks of rainouts will be rescheduled. Please remember that game time is the time listed on your schedule. Teams should be prepared to be ready to play at that time. A 10-minute grace period will be allowed for 6 o'clock games, but that 10 minutes will be removed from your total time. So teams should make all efforts to be ready to play by 6 p.m. A 5-minute grace period will also be allowed for all other games. But remember, that 5 minutes will be deducted from your total playing time. Once a team has 8 players present, they must begin and cannot wait for the 9th or 10th player to arrive. Games will be 7 innings long, with no new innings set to begin 55 minutes from their scheduled start time. Please remember, if you must forfeit your game, please contact your opponent as well as our office by phone as soon as possible. Nobody likes to show up for a game and not have a team to play. However, we do encourage teams to make every effort to field a team for each game, so teams can continue to receive the same number of games. If your team is looking for additional players or subs, please contact me in which I can provide you with a list of free agents. Game balls and scorebooks for the entire season will be handed out on the first night of each league. If you have a scheduled game, they'll be at your field prior to your game beginning. If you have a bye the first week, have a rep from your team stop by the pavilion at Victoria in between Vicks 1 and 3 at 6 p.m. the first night of your league. This will be the only chance to get your balls and scorebooks. Managers will be given a package of softballs containing 1 game ball per home game. Managers must bring a ball for each of their home games. If a home team fails to provide a new game ball, they will begin the game behind 3-0. Visiting teams should also be prepared to provide one used ball in the event that the primary ball is hit out of play. For playoff games, umpires will have game balls ready at the field. Please remember, in accordance with the statewide USSSA standards, all non-wood bats must have the new USSSA stamp on them. The old text USSSA logo will not be accepted. Only the new stamp that is permanently stamped on the bat will be accepted. Bats must also be unaltered and comply with USSSA Rule Number 2. Umpires will be instructed to check all bats prior to the first game of the season. Teams will be provided a scorebook prior to their first game. Each team is expected to keep book for each game. At the conclusion of each half inning, please confer with the umpire and the other scorekeeper to ensure that all three parties have the same score. In the event of a discrepancy, if it is caught at the end of half inning, it should be easy to compare books to correctly assess the correct score. However, if errors are allowed to persist, it is often difficult to go back 2, 3, or 4 innings to correct them. So please be certain to check with the umpire and the opposing scorekeeper at the end of each half inning. Primary focus of all Roseville leagues will be fun. Teams are expected to utilize good sportsmanship at all times towards their opponents, the umpire, and your own teammates. As managers, please prevent your team from getting into trash talking with the other team or arguing with the umpire. Remember, you are the leader out there. Please remember that the focus of these games should be on fun and recreation. All umpires officiating in the city of Roseville are expected to be USSSA certified. Teams may reasonably expect umpires to be on time, behave professionally, to hustle, and to briefly discuss a call with the manager if he or she approaches in a respectful manner after time has been granted. Please note that it is unreasonable of teams to expect umpires to get every call correct, to know every single rule of the large USSSA rulebook inside and out, to tolerate frequent complaints and/or verbal abuse, tolerate comments about the umpire's integrity, or that are personal in nature, such as, "Are they paying you today?" or "You're terrible." And it is unreasonable to expect an umpire to tolerate complaints about balls and strikes. Overall, judgment calls are not open to dispute. Teams must learn to live with the fact that umpires will make calls that they will not agree with and must move on with the game. When dealing with umpires, please keep the following items in mind. First, only team managers or the player involved may discuss a call with an umpire, and only after time is granted by the umpire. Discussions must be respectful, so no shouting or gesturing or profanity will be tolerated. After the umpire has given his or her explanation, the manager must return to his position or dugout immediately. Please note, rule interpretations may be formally protested in accordance with Roseville Parks and Recreation rules as followed in the rule book, but judgment calls are indeed final and not open for protest. The following actions will result in warning or immediate ejection if observed by an umpire. Please prevent players on your team from engaging in any of the following actions: continuous complaints about judgment calls, any player besides the manager leaving their position to argue a call, shouting at an umpire, use of profanity, use of personal statements towards an umpire, threats or taunting any other player, spectator or umpire, or continuing a behavior after receiving a warning. Per league rules, any player ejected from a game will serve a one-game suspension or possibly more depending on the severity of the situation. Please remind your teams to clean out your dugout and dugout areas before you leave for the night. Please ensure that no bottles or other items are left behind in your dugouts. Additionally, please be respectful of the neighbors and pedestrians who walk through the parks. Make sure that team members are not using profanity or doing anything else that may make residents uncomfortable. Finally, please note that city ordinance prohibits the use of alcohol and tobacco in Roseville parks. Although there have been multiple Roseville revisions to the USSSA rulebook, here are a few we'd like to highlight. First, the home run limits. The men's C division has a maximum of 4 home runs and plays with the +1 rule, which was implemented in 2016. Please note, only the C division will use the +1 rule. Men's D division has 3 home runs, Co-Rec C has 2 home runs, Co-Rec D allows 1 home run. Please note, any home run beyond the limit will be only 1 out, which differs from the USSSA rule. All leagues will use a 3-ball and 2-strike count with no courtesy foul. This means that if a player has 1 strike against them and hits a foul ball, they will be out. Players are not permitted to dig into the batter's box by kicking dirt out of the way as they come to the box. However, Players may kick dirt around to even out the spot they are batting in, essentially filling holes that are made but may not dig into the batter's box. No metal spikes will be permitted in our leagues, and courtesy runner will be limited to one courtesy runner per inning, and it will be the last person that was out. In an effort to prevent injury, Roseville has clarified the double play rule. All runners must either slide legally or attempt to get out of the way of the fielder turning to complete the double play. For a slide to be legal, players must remain on the ground and slide directly towards the base. The image that is being shown on the slide would be considered illegal in our league as the runner is not going directly towards the base and also has his right leg elevated and not on the ground. This would be ruled an out for both the runner sliding and the runner at first, granting the double play regardless of where the shortstop's throw ended. Additionally, hitting the ball back towards the pitcher intentionally in an effort to intimidate the pitcher will not be allowed. This can also be referred to as lighting up or buzzing the pitcher. If an umpire is confident that a team is intentionally hitting the ball at the pitcher, they are instructed to warn and then eject the offender. This is a dangerous situation that could lead to severe injury and even death. Please do not allow members in your team to intentionally hit the ball back up the middle in an effort to intimidate the pitcher. Radios are not permitted on benches during official game time. Teams may play appropriate music during warm-ups only. Please avoid blasting or blaring music that may have profanity or be inappropriate. Please take time to review all local league rules and share with all players. Reminder, any rule not listed in our local rules will follow the USSSA rulebook, which can be found online through the link provided. At the conclusion of the season, each regular season and playoff champion will receive championship t-shirts up to 14 each. I will be contacting each manager who's entitled to shirts following the conclusion of the season to obtain their sizes. Wrapping up, please remember that we want this league to be well organized and safe, with an emphasis on sportsmanship. Managers, I ask you to please be leaders on this and encourage your teams to follow suit. Keep these games in perspective. Yes, competition is important, but we all want to participate to be safe and have fun above all else. Please do not hesitate to contact me with any questions or concerns throughout the entirety of the season. Finally, I thank you once again for choosing Roseville for your summer softball league. I wish everyone a safe and fun season. Best of luck, and I hope to see many of you out at the fields. Thanks.